Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Raw and Real with TJ and Jen. And man, the holidays are behind us. They're done. They're toast.
We're in that dead week.
In between Christmas and New
Yeah,
Year's.
like you don't really know what to do with yourself. You don't know what day it is. You're full.
Well, like for me, it's like I've been struggling on when to get back to work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and of course the kids are off of school via the teachers here. But I mean, we've given them the holidays. But I mean, it's like I've got a week where I can get some crap done, like working on the book. We've got some meetings. We got a ministry to run. It's like we have all this preparation work to do, getting ready for after the first of the year when a lot of things are kicking off. But it's like we're stuck in that in between zone, like you're saying. Or I don't know, but I feel bad for working because it's like the holidays, but I'm like Christmas is behind us and we've got a few days before New Year's, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. It doesn't feel like work ever stops. Honestly, it's like
They always told
you
me,
have to do what you have to do.
yeah, they always told me when you become an entrepreneur, you're working for yourself, that you work harder than you do when you work for somebody, and I believe it. I think it's true.
You taking any time off ever though has been a struggle. Like you don't sit well, I guess.
Okay, I mean, I do.
We got
I got a
stuff
lot
to
of
do.
stuff to do, and whether it's work or play, there's stuff to do. Like, I mean, why do you want to just sit around and watch a day go by? I've never understood that. You know, I mean, that's a waste. Even when I was a kid, like a lot of my friends would stay up Friday night till God knows when, right? Playing video games or whatever. And then they would sleep Saturday till like 2 or 3. And I'm like, this is our one and only day off. Like, why would you waste it in bed? That's the way my brain works. So there's always something that needs to be done.
Always.
Whether it's fishing or hunting or, I don't know, mowing, taking care of the ranch. There's something that needs to be done. And a day wasted is a day wasted. I don't know. Welcome.
No off days around here, folks. None.
Oh, goodness.
That's okay.
I try. I do. I try.
He does. Every once in a while, he'll be like, "Oh, chill." Well, when you're sick, I still have to make you stop.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just the way I'm wired. I can't help it. I can't help it.
It's okay. We all still love you.
That's comforting. Oh, goodness. Well, as we discussed, like New Year's is around the corner, so we thought what better way to wrap up the podcast season with an episode dealing with New Year's. A New Year's edition of Raw and Real.
Yeah.
I don't know where this is going to go because I have no idea what your notes are. We kind of did our own preparation, so I don't really know where you're headed with this.
Well, I mean, neither one of us are resolution people. I mean, actually, I was watching a talk show yesterday,
Okay.
and they were talking about the top 10 New Year's resolutions.
Okay.
And it's the same ones over and over and over.
Okay.
I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to save money, spend less. What were the other ones? I mean, just your basic, that by February 1st, you don't even remember your goal, what you were doing. So I'm always a little bit more intentional, I think. And
Okay.
I think it's important to be intentional with what you're. I think a new year's always a good thing to, new beginning, you know, you get to do some things over maybe.
Yeah.
But in the same aspect, like, I think you should always be goal-oriented.
Well, I mean, that's my whole take on New Year's resolutions is because, like you say, it is the same thing over and over and over. Why are you waiting for the new year to attack those areas. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why? Why does it have to wait till a new year rolls around and, oh, Lord, let's attack this? Why not be on that all the time? Why not be geared towards that constantly? Like, if weight's an issue, make it a priority. If, saving money is a problem, if it's something that you're willing to put up as a resolution, then make it a priority. Make time for it.
It's kind of like that wait till Monday mentality.
Yeah, exactly.
That I don't understand. Like, okay, well, it's Wednesday and I've decided that I'm not happy with something. So Monday,
yeah.
Why don't you just start?
Start right then or whatever, yeah.
Start working towards it. I mean, you're not going to master it, but that gives you 4 more days to master it before Monday. So, like, why wouldn't you give yourself that? Like, why do we have this hurry up and wait mentality? I think is.
I think a lot of it has to do with good ideas, and we all have good ideas. Mm-hmm. We very seldom have a God idea because we don't take the time to listen to God, and we don't take the time to slow down and see what He's got to say. And I think that's a lot of it. It's a good idea to be a better steward, like with our money. Like, we have a budget that we're sticking to. That's a good idea. But God says that we are to be good stewards, and so instead of it just being a good idea, seek God in how to actually accomplish that. But we don't take that time. We want to be involved. And that's my problem with, I think, New Year's resolutions, is because it's all about us. It's all about us. So here we have a holiday like we did on the 25th where we're celebrating the Savior's birth. And the whole thing the Savior stands for, is being our deliverance, our salvation, our, playbook into a new way to live. And it's all about putting God first. And then we turn around in less than, a week later, and we focus on nothing but ourselves. They contradict themselves, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's New Year's resolution is all about what I can do, me,
right.
And it's selfish, and that's why I don't believe in them.
Right.
I don't. It's if these things are a priority, like my alcoholism, it was a major detrimental impact to this family, and not including myself. But the only way that I was going to get past that was by, you kept saying, you've got to do it for you. You've got to do it for you. Well, I didn't want to do it for me, so that didn't help. It wasn't until God literally intervened and I yielded that time to Him and I submitted myself at His feet completely and fully that the restoration came.
Yeah.
And so I feel the same way about a resolution. If it's something you truly want, that you truly are seeking, then put Him first. And allow Him into your life and to work through your life and to focus on these things. But it's not something you do once a year. It is something that you have to do daily. Paul wrote, I think, in Corinthians, where he's, talking about not being conformed, but being transformed. 12:8, somewhere, a chapter in there. Not conform to this world, but transform your mind. We have to do that daily. And that's exactly what he was talking about.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, now you've got me curious because I got to go find that.
What was it?
To what?
What are you looking for?
About being transformed.
Oh.
Yeah, Romans 12:2. It says, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Renewing of your mind, I just lost my place. That you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. And so, that's what we have to do. But I don't know how you do that one time a year.
Yeah.
One time a year, okay, well, let's get things in order. Woo-hoo.
Yeah.
And then you go bust off and do whatever, and in like a month you forget. I think a lot of it is, because we set up unrealistic goals.
Yeah, we set ourselves up for failure.
Yeah.
Absolutely we do. Do you need your stuff, buddy?
Excuse us for a sec. I mean, we do. We set up unrealistic goals, and they're, to me, they're unrealistic because we're leaning on ourselves. We're leaning on us to do it.
Yeah.
We're gonna fail. We are human. There is no way around that scenario. Like we're human. We're gonna fail.
Yeah. And another thing too, I've been thinking about is what I don't want to take with me in the new year. Not just resolutions and what my goals look like for the year, but like what from this year do I not want to take with me into next year? Like it could be a habit, it could be a feeling.
Wow.
Even some people, I think, that we've had to let go, or yeah, I mean we've just had to let some people go. I mean that's just life, and it's been hard, but they weren't meant to be on our journey with us. And I feel like I just need to. There's so much like I don't want to take with me, like bitterness. I've had a lot of bitterness this year, dealing with some things and with some people and with some situations, and I don't want to take that with me into the new year.
That's good. That's good.
Laying that down for good and not bringing that into the start of my new goals, my new intentions.
No, and I mean that's a huge plus because we look so much on what we do want to do or what we do want to adopt or what we do want to take hold of. And I don't think we focus enough on what we need to let go of. Like, I think that could be a lot of help to people, you know, is learning what to let go of and what not to carry with them.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the thing, you know, by these New Year's resolutions, we're taking such a approach to like with worldly standards of things. We're involved in things of this world in so much of the stuff that we do, and you know we have to remember that we are in this world but not of this world when we're born again. And I think, you know, it's understandable for people who don't believe to have that, but it's a problem to me when Christians, and I'm talking about like myself, I get wrapped up in these worldly standards, you know what I mean? And it's a hard battle for me, not feeling inadequate when you're basing yourself compared to next to somebody.
Right.
They have their own race to run. I have my race to run. And our paths may not supposed to be parallel. You know, and so it kind of goes with what you're saying about letting that go. We need to learn to not continue that or not take that with us because it's so important that we realize that we each have our own journey and our own purpose and our own thing we're supposed to do, and to not be like so and so. But I think that's where this whole thing has transformed into, I guess is a good way to put it, because it's like we want to be like everybody else and having these New Year's resolutions and go on social media and talk about them, and I guess it's like we get a gold star if we actually accomplish them, you know what I mean? And I'm like, no offense, but the 10,000 other people out there that are feeding into this is what's making it worse. Like, when did everything become so publicized? Like, everything is public knowledge now. What we eat, where we go, what we do.
Yeah.
It's dangerous. And, you know, everybody was giving, you know, Musk a hard time about all that stuff that was going on with Twitter and them tracking him, but I don't blame him. I mean, it's dangerous. We're putting ourselves in harm's way.
Yeah. And we're not always doing it. Some people are doing it to us, like in his situation. But I think, like, letting go of the things, I'm weird, I'm quirky. I like to have, like, some verses for the year.
Okay.
Like, to really stand on and lean on. And
that's always good.
I still like to have a word, and I'll get into that more here in a little bit, but, like, when God started dealing with me on my new year and what my goals were and letting things go, what I didn't want to take with me was really strong. But it gave me Philippians 3, 13 through 14. And it's, brethren, I count not myself to have apprehended, But this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forth
Wow.
unto those things which are before. I press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling of God in Christ Jesus. So, like, forgetting what is behind implies that you left behind something you once knew.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, it's the world, but also it's like shame, fear, bitterness, those things that have been holding you back. But that's what you once knew. So it's not going to be easy to let those things go, but he is very clear in letting those things go. That's what's holding you back. That's what's hindering you. And I know that that's a lot of what hindered me this last year, and those are the things that I don't want to take with me into the new year.
Right.
I'm not saying January 1st, I'm just going to be like, ooh, that's done. But being more cognitively aware of what I'm
Watch out for
feeling.
the Scrabble words.
Never know. Never know, but just
No, you're right.
being aware of what is my hindrance, what it has been holding me back, and how do I need to let that go? What do I need to do?
No, for sure, and that's, I love the fact that you went there. That's where I got my podcast, not to mention the fact that I'm a hunter and I use all types of calls, but that was my biblical principle behind my blog was that scripture, and I need to take more heed to it going into this new year because I've slacked in that department. I've dealt with a lot of things. I think preparing for the ministry and stuff the way that we have, trying to get everything situated and right. I've been doing a lot of personal reflection and trying to weed through a lot of the garbage to get through it, to put it behind me. And I haven't focused on that as much probably as I need to. And it's important that we don't take all of this baggage with us from year to year to year. Excuse me. And I feel like I've been a poster child for that problem because I have done that. We've talked about it quite often between ourselves, and it is the perfect time, since it's kind of the theme, so to speak, every year, to reevaluate yourself and look at yourself in a way to where you're trying to better yourself, not only for you but for your family, but also as a believer and as a Christian, as a soldier, an apostle for God, to put this stuff behind us and be able to make room for new stuff.
Absolutely.
The Bible talks about all things have become new, and there's several scriptures that deal with renewing, and which means to make new again. And there's nothing wrong with having to go in and make new again over and over and over, as long as you're improving and bettering yourself.
Yeah, but you have to let some other things go. I think my favorite sermon from T.D. Jakes is the one he talks about baggage. And he's up there and he just keeps adding bags. And he's so weighted down that, like, the new stuff that's coming in, he doesn't have room
for it.
You can't make room for that if you're being weighted down by your old baggage. And so I think that's a great analogy to get rid of your baggage. I mean, there's no point in dragging it with you any further.
For sure.
It's already causing trouble in your life. Like, you're already, whether it be regret, feelings of unworthiness, all that comes with baggage. And, like, you're better than that. You don't deserve to live that way. You don't deserve to live that life.
That's true.
He didn't die on that cross for you to live in bondage for the rest of your life over a mistake you made, or he's not living there, so you don't have to live there.
Right. And I think that's, I know I've had that problem, is to remember that he's not there. And you in a way, we I think look at God as like an earthly father. Okay. And we have to keep him happy, or we seek to please him in a way that's only earthly related, instead of trying to please him in a spiritual realm. And it's like, if we mess up, we're going to get punished. In fact, I think even some churches have preached that, like, if you mess up, you're going to get struck by lightning. Like, you know what I mean? And it's always kind of been that way. And just like I was writing this morning, the chapter of my book, kind of on this same topic, was, like prayer. We have to try to keep him happy so that he'll grant us our wishes.
Yes.
We got to do good so that when we go to him in prayer, like, we're going to get,
yes.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And it's that earthly father, and he's not. He's our spiritual father. He is our creative father in a spiritual sense of the word. And, he's already forgotten what we've done. It doesn't mean anything to him once we go and we say, forgive me, I messed up, I'm sorry. It's like, cool. He doesn't even remember it.
Yeah. And what you did didn't come as a shock to him.
No.
You didn't surprise him and catch him off guard like you would your earthly father. Yeah, he knew. Like, he was right there. You didn't catch him off guard and be like, I really messed up last night. And he'd be like, really? What'd you do?
Right. Well, and that's my thing is, instead of doing these yearly resolutions, why not make like life goals and work on them till you get them accomplished? Yeah. I don't know. That's just where I go with it.
Well, I still have goals that I'm working on from last year or this year, whatever it was. Just because they didn't get done in 22 doesn't mean that they're not going to be fulfilled in 25.
Right.
I'm not just going to drop those goals every January 1st because they didn't happen. You know what I mean?
No, I know.
I don't understand the whole that, yes, it's a new year, but some of those goals are like 5-year goals.
Right.
Some of them are 10-year. Some of them are, I have no idea how long it's going to take. It may take the rest of my life to conquer that goal. I don't know. And so it's always hard for me to, yes, I'm adding new things, but I add new things daily.
Yeah.
Like, there's always something stirring in me to do. And I'm like, okay, is this a God thing or is this just Jennifer? Like, does Jennifer really want this or am I being told to do this?
Well, and, don't misunderstand what we're saying either, because just because there's something that you want personally doesn't mean that God's not going to bless that or honor that, because, he doesn't mind us having the things. He doesn't mind us accomplishing things or being people of relevance. Like, that's not a problem. It's just when we make that over him that it's a problem. Right. And so it's fine if you want to be in the $1 billion club. That's your goal. But the point I wanted to make was, we set a goal and it's in a time frame of a human mind of thinking, like a human way of thinking. Like you say, God may be saying, okay, you're going to be a billionaire someday, but it may not be until many years down the road when the timing is right and your mind is right, and it's going to be for a greater purpose than just the thing that you're thinking of. Maybe it's to help underprivileged kids or abused mothers, or there's going to be a bigger purpose, a bigger reason than what you're thinking of is, I've just got $1 billion in my bank account. Right. So I can drive a brand new Escalade and wear the top designer clothes and people will look at me. Right. We can't put God in a time frame of humanly proportionate. It's not scriptural to do that, but yet we do. And we're trying to reach out for, unrealistic goals and unrealistic or unproductive goals is what I should say, because it's like Eric Thomas said in the deal, and I don't know, it was just a clip that I saw, but he's like, you're wanting like $1 million. Well, what are you going to do with it? What are just, you have $1 million, so you have $1 million, so you can go look like you have $1 million, so you can go act like you have $1 million, but you're not doing anything productive with it. Right. It's not really benefiting anyone. Right. And God, too, I think protects us against us harming ourselves. Because, say you want that $1 billion, and you burn through it, you may actually wind up living on the streets by the time it's all said and done. So you hurt yourself. You took from a middle class home to homeless because you got $1 billion and did not know what to do with it.
Right.
And I think all of that is what I try to stay away from, and that's why I steer clear of these resolutions as much as possible. I think they're more worldly based, and they're not really benefiting anybody.
You're just setting yourself up for failure if you're not willing to make a long-term plan. Because very few things happen overnight in the next week, in the next month, even. So you're setting yourself up for failure if you are just overnight success. Like, it's not going to happen in anything. I mean, the lottery is about the only overnight success. That,
right.
You know what I mean? Nothing else really happens like that. I mean,
No.
You have to be. Another one of my things is like setting intentions.
That's a good one.
You know, the more intentional you can be with your words and your actions and what you really want to happen, rather than just allowing life to happen to you or in front of you, life is going to happen. Like, you can't be so intentional that, you know, things are going to happen. It's life.
Right.
That the more intentional you are with your words, with what you're really focusing on. Like, you have to be intentional with your time. Okay, this isn't going to grow itself. If you're trying to start a new business, like, that business is not going to grow itself.
Right.
You have to be intentional with your time. You have to be intentional with your money in that aspect too. You know, okay, well, if I pay this, it's got to go towards, you know, you have to be intentional for anything to work.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we miss it a lot.
Absolutely. I'm probably just as guilty as that as anybody, because it's like sometimes I wake up with a new idea daily and I want something so bad to be productive.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's any meat behind most of it, and it never carries through. And so I feel like that failed. I feel like that didn't work. But it was really only a failure because there was no meat behind it. There's no purpose behind it. And so, just like our words, you know, I don't think we realize sometimes we just throw words out there without any intention in them or behind them. And that's a big thing to me, is not being like that, because integrity means so much to me. And to me, they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
You know, integrity and a fruitful, meaningful word is very important, because they kind of are the same thing. You need to mean what you say and say what you mean. And I don't do it intentionally. I don't do it on purpose, but I look back and that's what I've done. Yeah. And so trying to, you know, refocus, reprioritize on that and be better the next go around is always something I try to do.
Yeah. I think intentions mean more to me than a resolution.
Okay.
And last year, was it last year or the year before? That was my word, was intentional.
Yes.
And I know the word thing's trendy and silly, but the years that I don't get a word, I feel like I'm lost, so to speak, and that sounds crazy, but I think it influences my behaviors. It kind of influences the choices that I make. I mean, now hear me out. I think it's powerful when it's God-given.
Yeah.
And it's sought out, and it's not just December 31st. I'm like, okay, this is a good word.
Right.
I'm going to go with that. And I think that's why we recorded this a little early, so people could truly sit down and seek out, you know, their new year. But you have to seek that out. And when you seek it out, and when you truly know that it's a word from God, and you know that this is what He wants to work with you on that year, it's more powerful. And it really affects the choices that I make or the way things can happen, because I'm like, okay, but wait, this is what I'm supposed to be focused. Like the year that we were to simplify, like that was my word.
Yeah, that was your word.
That was truly a powerful year because in every area of our lives, that's what we did. And
that was the year we hit the road.
Yeah.
And we lived literally on the road for, oh my gosh, right at 11 months, maybe 11 and a half total. There was some coming home and regrouping and heading back out, but we were about as simplistic as you could get. You know what I mean? And a lot of nights, literally pitching a tent, staying at a KOA somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That they had bathrooms and showers, and it was perfect. I mean, we could minimize the hotel spending $150 for somewhere to sleep and play cards or whatever in the tent instead of watching TV in a hotel room. I mean, we did, but it was an amazing time in our life and a very productive time in our life, and I'm grateful for it every day. In fact, I miss a lot of times. And,
I know.
It was a lot of fun. I mean, there was some hardship, but people were asking, like, how are you getting to do this? And it's because we simplified. We didn't have the giant house payment, car payment, expenses.
But that was one of those years that we lived intently.
Yep.
We had a goal, we had a dream, and we were doing everything intentionally for that to fall into place.
Exactly.
And I'm not taking God out of that equation by any means. I'm just saying, like, I think the more you really put thought around what you want, and the more intent, the more powerful your word of the year is, and the more you learn to live by it and around it, and the more you grow, it's kind of like a self-exploration thing. Like, you really realize what you can do if you really, truly, intently focus on one thing or a couple of things.
I don't think it's taking God out of it all. In fact, I probably would put God, even though we may not have been quoting scripture every day, even though we may have not have been shouting from a megaphone every day the message of Jesus, I think God was more involved in that time in our life probably than any other. You look at the favor we had, you look at the protection and everything. I think he used that as a time in our life to show us many, many, many things. We don't have to have all the fruits of this world to be happy. B, there's so much more you can do if you really put your mind to it. That's a life lesson that you can't learn stuck in your secular job. You know what I mean? I mean, truly, it can be learned, but I mean, you get out there and you get to really exploring and traveling the world, you're going to find out really and truthfully how powerful you really are.
Yeah.
Putting your mind to something and it being important enough to see it through. I mean, that's a good life lesson to learn, and you can't always learn that when you're in your comfort zone at home doing your job and your family, and
right.
You kind of get bogged down in the same old, and I think it's kind of like a refresh or a reset button. It's good for you to be able to do those kind of things.
And I think it's too a word that we've carried throughout that time. Like, our home life has been more simpler.
Yes.
The things that we have are more simple. Like, our house used to be cram-packed, crowded, full. There was stuff on every wall. And like, we realized you don't need any of this stuff.
Right.
You really don't. And so I think it has just followed us. Those words have followed us. Like, intentional was my word last year. It's followed me, and it's still a big part of my life now because I have made myself live that way this year. I've been intentional with my time. And there's days I have failed. Like, let's be real. I mean, I've missed the mark probably more than I made the mark, but it has been something in my mind consistently to be intentional with my time, intentional with my kids, intentional with you, intentional in every aspect, intentional with my money, intentional with, every single detail. There's an intention behind it. And it's also made me that if you're not serving me in a good way, and I don't mean serving me like bowing down to me. I mean,
see where I fall.
Well, you're still here, so apparently you served me well, but
That's good to know. Keep bringing you coffee and breakfast in bed. I'm covered, right? I see.
Oh, I knew that was going to go somewhere it wasn't supposed to. Anyway, if something or someone's not serving me in a positive way, then I really probably don't need to be around you.
Really and truthfully, it sounds cocky, but it's not.
It
It's
sounds
the truth.
really
Like,
bad.
we've always said, or you've always said, and I've kind of adopted it. Like, if it's not a hell yes, and it's a hell no, and I think we'd all be better off if we lived by that to our standards. But too much of the time, it's really transitioned and turned into we're all trying to be like everybody else, and it's becoming a trend because that's always the thing. Well, what's trending? That's always what's brought up, and there wouldn't be all these influencers if that wasn't the case.
Right.
They wouldn't be making the money if everybody wasn't trying to be like everybody. And I can't figure out why anybody wants to be like everybody instead of being themselves and stuff. But, I mean, you've inspired me to, I don't think I have ever had it. I've always lived by your word. You've inspired me to go out and find my own word for the year and try to, set something up for myself. So, nothing else, you reach me. So. I know, like I'm constantly trying to do better and be better, and I'm not opposed of self-improvement. I just don't know why we always focus it to a worldly standard. Weight, money, something, and it's just worldly things, and I don't understand why that is the driving force for humanity.
Well, like, not even people or anything, but like something that wasn't serving me well this year was social media.
Right.
And I had to take it out of the equation for a while.
Right.
Probably fixing to take it back out of the equation. Like, I'm kind of back and forth on it. Like, I get bored, so I'm like, whatever. If something is not serving you in a positive light, like, you need to reevaluate that situation. And I'm not saying because your husband's being a butt that day or your wife's being a butt that day that you need to reevaluate the situation. I'm just saying, like, if something is constantly bringing you down and it's toxic to you and your mental health or your spiritual health, like, take some time away from it. Just take a break and see, is that what's causing your stress, your downfall? I mean, mental health is nothing to shake a stick at. Like, you really have to focus on that. And if something like that is causing you turmoil, like, it's not worth it.
Right.
Just take it off your phone for a while. Take it off. Just, I don't look for the influencer world to go anywhere anytime soon.
No, it's probably here to stay.
But the more we add to it and fuel that fire, the more, I mean, it's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger.
It is, but it's going to be what it's going to be. Like, you can't fix that.
But it doesn't have to eat at your soul.
Yeah, and I think that's the whole thing here is, if I had a word that I would project today, it would be, maybe 2 words. It would be more of a self-reflection. Look towards yourself. Look at what's going to make you better. What's going to improve you. It may not be the people you follow. That may not, it may be fun for you to get ideas, and it may be, fun for you to piddle with, when you're just trying to unwind or whatever. But it may not be what's making you better.
Right.
And spend more time making yourself better. Spend more time doing that self-reflection and seeing what's going to, bring joy into your life. Yes. Bring peace into your life. Yeah. Because, we know that God brings wisdom, knowledge, joy, peace. The Bible talks about, the fruits of the Spirit. And if the things that you're involved in aren't bringing those to you, then they're not going to be benefiting you and making you a better person. Right. And so that's more important to me than following suit or looking like somebody or whatever, you know.
Right.
I don't know.
And I just encourage you this week to the weird week, you know, the week that you don't know what's up or what's down. Just take that time off social.
Right.
Figure out what your intentions are for the new year. Figure out what you want to do. Like you said, self-reflect on you and what out of this year do you not want to drag with you into next year? What do you want next year? I mean, truly, what are some true goals you have? Not just materialistic, I want a new house, I want a new truck, I want a new, not materialistic, but just truly, what do you want for yourself and your life this year? You know, maybe it is to be more in the Word. Maybe it's to find a new church home. Maybe it's to find a new job. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
You do. You know what's bothering you right now because this week is dead week. All the joy from Christmas is over, and we're looking into the barrel of a new year. Tax refund. I saw a thing yesterday that said, Christmas is over, give me my W-2. You know? So, just take time off social. Drown out the noise. Drown out everything around you that can influence you. And just truly get in your word. Focus on what you want for this year. And what he wants for you. I mean,
that's good.
He has big plans for all of us. And we're so busy in this fast-paced, keeping up with the Joneses world. We don't even know what he wants for us.
That's it.
And it could be 10 times bigger than the Joneses.
Well, I've used this many a time, but you know, Isaiah 55, 8 and 9, his ways and his thoughts are way higher than ours could ever be. So, I mean, why would we not want that? Why would we not seek to possess what he wants for us? Because it's bigger than anything we could ever accomplish.
Right.
Nothing that I've done, and I'm speaking literal, nothing that I have ever done in my life of 43 years has been substantial. I've done nothing in my own life that's ever amounted to anything substantial. The only things that's ever been huge in my life is through God.
Yes.
He put us together. My 3 healthy kids. You know, those are things that God did in spite of me.
Right.
He did that without me having to interfere.
Yeah.
Those were fate. Those were God things. Those were things that I would have screwed up and tried to screw up. Yeah. Point proven, you know, the alcoholism and everything that ensued after that. I mean, Clint always said the very best decision you ever made in life got you exactly where you are today.
Very true.
And that's so much true. So why would we not want to give him the opportunity to shine through us and in us and make us bigger and better than we could ever make ourselves?
Yeah.
Because, yeah, you may become CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company. But stop and think. If that's how far you got, think how much further you could be if you would have allowed God to work through you and in you. It could have been 2 or 3 times larger than what you could ever think or imagine.
Yeah.
Because that's what his word says. So.
That's good.
I don't know.
That's good.
Sorry, I'm stumped up. I'm not crying. This weather is.
So emotional.
I could have played that. I should have played that. Come on, guys.
I would have been like, what is wrong?
Oh, guys. Oh. This weather is kicking my butt. It's hot and cold and 27 one day and 60 the next.
Yeah.
I saw a deal from, was it Cafe Reconcile? No. The one that has the big fountain in the courtyard. It's mega famous. It's like a tourist trap there in New Orleans. It was actually frozen and ice was, and I'm like, if it's cold in Louisiana, it's messed up weather.
Wow.
But anyway. No, that's good. And as you said, I mean, as the new year comes, like, do some self-reflecting and See where he's trying to take you.
Yeah.
Make them life goals instead of yearly goals.
Yeah. Just take the time to drown out the noise. I think we get so bogged down with the news and with social media.
Yes.
And just the outside noise coming in that takes us away. Just take some time to get quiet. I don't care if it's an hour a day. I don't care if it's 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. I just take that time to truly reflect on what you need to be doing.
Right. No, that's the whole key. And get you a word for the year. Seek God and ask. Just get still, get quiet, get, like you said, outside of the noise. Find, even if it's 5 minutes a day, and you have to lock yourself in your closet, literally, to just not think, not talk, not speak, just close your eyes and just try to listen. Just try to listen to God with the intent of Him giving you a word. Take that time.
Yeah.
It's so important. It really is, and I don't think we give it enough credit.
No, we don't. No, we really don't.
So that was good. I mean, I didn't know where this was going to go, but you had a lot of great points that it helped me out this time. So hey, don't ever think that you're not teaching or
say I never gave you.
Hey, there you go. But we hope you guys have an amazing new year. I'm trying to think. Actually, we'll meet one more time before. Right?
Before the 8th?
Before the 1st.
Oh, yeah, if we do Thursdays.
Yeah, we got Thursday coming up. I was trying to look, because, yeah, we have the 29th. So, that'll be a good one. We have one more time before the new year. I was going to say have a happy new year if we don't see you again, but we got one more. So,
yeah. Probably should have done this one then, but I think we wanted people to have time.
No, we did. You needed time to hear it and take it in and see if it can benefit your life,
For sure.
We have some exciting things coming up, some additions coming to the ministry that we're excited for, some more outlets, some more material coming up. We're trying to work on getting some things made up to be able to send out. We're trying to grow this thing and make it bigger and more knowledge, more outlets for knowledge is I think is what I'm trying to get at. Yeah. Avenues that if you need help with the material, we'll have it on hand. We're trying to have that some brochures and some different things on different areas. We were doing some looking the other day in some of our local Christian stores, trying to find means and ways to have more material that we can send out.
Yep. It's all in the works.
So we're looking forward to all that. We want to help y'all become the best that God's potential and means has for you guys to become. And so we're just trying to help that come to fruition.
Yep. And after a lot of requests, we're going to start back up with our newsletter, our monthly.
Yes.
Our monthly. I guess it's a newsletter.
It's basically a newsletter, a good newsletter, whatever.
We did it a long time ago, and people have been asking for it again. So I did them then by mail, like snail mail. So if that's how you want it, shoot us your address and we'll get that to you. I think they'll go out on the 15th of every month.
Yep.
And then if you want it by email, we can also do it that way.
Do it that way.
Shoot us your email and we'll get you set up on a monthly email list as well for that. But it won't be spam. It'll just be once a month.
Yeah, once a month. You can send it to QuinteTeamMinistries@gmail, or you can also, I know a lot of you have been really pouring into the blogs. There is a homepage at the bottom. It has a contact form where you can put your name and I think your phone number and your email and write a message.
Yes.
It's on the homepage of the ministry website. You can send it through there.
You can also subscribe to that, and when a blog hits, you'll get notified.
You'll get notified.
It drops.
Or you can also private message us on Instagram or Facebook.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So
yeah, however you want that sent, we'll do it either way. And if email is your main form of communication with us, I know some of you like to just email us. Just shoot us an email saying that you want on that list, because I'm not just gonna send it to you because you email us.
Yeah.
Like, I really want to know that you want it. I don't want to just send people stuff that they don't want. So, if that's you and that's what you want, if you want to be on that list, then get us your information and how you want it delivered.
Absolutely. But until then, I guess that'll do it for this edition of Raw and Real.
All
We
right.
thank you guys, and we can't wait to see you on Thursday.
All right.
All right.
Bye,
Bye
guys.
guys.